Hi guys, welcome back to Charlotte's Spoilage. I wanted to get in here today and just talk to you about cuttings. I know that when I finally decided to start planting my own plants and learning how to make new plants from a mother plant, which is what I have here. These are mother plants. They're just plants that have grown really well, and if they were to die, I would be devastated. So what I would do is take a cutting so that if this plant did die, I would have my cutting still left. And so therefore I wouldn't be at a total loss. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually take a cutting. I do have another video doing this very thing, but I'll try to link it in this video if I'm able to. But let's just get right into the video, and I just want to thank you guys for watching my channel and liking my channel, and I hope you'll tell your friends about my channel. So let's just start cutting, and what we're going to do is take the cuttings and then we're going to put them in a vase, and then we'll follow back up later on to see how well the plants have rooted. Okay, so right here I have a heartleaf philodendron. This plant grows really long and leggy, and it's a beautiful plant. It grows fast, so there's no problem with growth here, as you can see. But if I wanted to make this plant a little bit more fuller on top, I could actually take some cuttings here and put them back into the plant. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to cut the plant foliage so that we can make more plant babies. So I'm going to look at the plant and see where would be a good place to cut it at. And that's where I'm going to cut it at, okay? So it's actually very full and almost even in its growth. So that's what you want. But for the sake of this video, let's just cut a piece here and start there. Okay, so I'm going to show you up close here. There's a node there. Right here where my finger is. That's where you want to cut, above the node, okay? So see where my fingernail is? I'm going to cut above that node. And this area here is the stem. And that's where we're going to cut, okay? To get new plant babies. So I'm going to cut there, and then I'm going to show you guys something. Okay? All right. So because I did a cutting, I have this long stem here, okay? But what you want to do is you want to continue to cut where there's a node, because that's the part that you want to put in water so that it will continue to grow. So I'm going to cut here. Here's another one. I'm going to cut above that node there. See? Here's another node here. I'm going to cut there. And see there? There's another one. I can cut there. There's another one. I can cut there. Or if I want to wait and make it a little bit longer, I can wait till the next node and I can cut there. And you ever heard of the term wet sticks? I could actually take this little stick here that doesn't have a leaf on it, and I can cut right above the node, and I could stick this stick in. It's a cutting. I could stick it in moss or water, and it'll grow a plant, a root from that node, okay? So let's continue on down the stem. There's another node. So we're going to cut above that node. Okay. So that's basically the gist of it. This stem, there's no node on the stem except for when you get right here. So I don't need this. I can just cut that off. But right above it, I got a node here. You see that? And then, so I want to cut this because it still has a node. But if you look right here, there's another node right there. But the rest of this, you can put this in moss, okay? So basically, we have all these cuttings now, and we need to know what to do with them. So what you want to do is you want to get you some type of water container. It can be a cup, it can be a vase, and what you'll do is you put some water in it, and I'll show you that. I'm just going to take some water here, and I'm going to put it in the vase, and I'm going to fill it all the way up to the top. Okay? So that those nodes can reach that water with no problem. And then I'm going to take this plant, and I'm just going to simply place it with a leaf hanging over the top, and then I'm going to place the other leaves in here and the stems. This is what I'm doing. I'm just sitting them in water. Okay? Hope you can see that. And that's all I'm doing is I'm sticking it in water, making sure that the nodes touch the water. Okay? And there you have it. You have your cuttings. You'll hear the term cuttings. Do you have a rooted cutting? Rooted cutting is, and I'll show you. If I turn the camera around, you see this plant on my table? Those are roots. If somebody wanted to buy this plant from me, I could tell them I have several rooted cuttings, okay? Because I cut this plant, and there's the mother plant up there. I hope you can see that. But I cut it, and that's what I was able to grow from that, okay? Let's turn back around. Now let's look at this plant. We've already done the heart leaf philodendron. I could cut more if I like, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to cut what I've shown you. Okay? This is a beautiful pothos plant. I think it's called emerald green, and it's kind of rare because of the type of variegation on the leaves. See how pretty this is? I don't want to cut it. I just purchased this plant yesterday. But it's such a nice plant that I'm going to cut it because I want to make sure that if something happens to it, I'll have extra plant here. So you see this area here where it's hanging? That's where we're going to start our cutting. And we're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to back the camera up so I can show you guys. We're going to cut above the node. Okay? So right where my finger is, if you can see that, that's a node. And you can see that's an aerial root right there that's hanging out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut above the node right here. And there's another node right here. Looks like you can call it a bump. And that's how you know where to cut, above it. Don't cut on it. Okay? So I did that. It's a plant. This plant will still grow as long as there's a node, an area for it to come out of. Okay, see? There's another node right there. Let's see if I can turn this so you can see. Right there where my finger is. We can cut right there and it'll grow us another plant, okay? See? There's another one there. We can cut it and we can grow another plant. Same thing here. this plant will continue to grow. And another purpose of cutting the plant like this, you guys, it actually promotes growth. It helps the plant just continue to push out new growth. See, there are your cuttings. I'm going to show you that here. If I want to, I can put these same cuttings in that same jar, okay? I think I'll do that too. And there's also a chemical in pothos plants that help promote growth to your cuttings. So you could take a pothos plant and put it in any of your cuttings and it'll promote growth, okay? So we've done that here. Before I forget, make sure, and I've already done this, make sure you clean your shears. Whatever scissors or whatever, you can clean it with peroxide or disinfectant soap, because you don't want to give your plant any type of diseases or funguses. So you make sure you cut those, you make sure you clean your scissors. Okay, so I'm just doing the same exact thing, you guys. I'm taking these cuttings and I'm putting them in this water, okay? So I've got philodendrons in here and I've got pothos in here, and it doesn't hurt the plant at all. They're all going to root, or some of them may not root, but most of the time when you're when you're planting in water, it usually roots. When the stem is this little, you want something smaller, like a smaller vase with a long neck on it. And I had a bottle. Let me see if I have it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. For example, this vase here. This is some liquor bottle one of my husband's friends had. And I keep these because, look, I can just take that and stick that in here and it'll stay in there and it won't fall out, okay? So that's the purpose of having a long neck bottle, so you can get your cuttings in there. And if you need to cut a piece of that off, like this is kind of awkward, so I can cut that off and it'll still grow. See? So if we want to, we can put all these that I just had in this bottle. It doesn't matter. I can put a few of them in there, and you know, if you want to put all the same plants in the same jar, you could do that. For example, I could take these out and just put these in this jar because they're all the same, okay? I'm cutting this again so the stem won't be too long and awkward. And it's already some water in this vase, but there's not enough because it's not touching the stem. So I need to put some more water in there. It's kind of awkward putting water in there with that little bitty opening there. So what you want to do is put water in there first. But I have a little bitty container here. I think it's a medicine cup that my daughter uses. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to take this medicine cup and I'm going to put some water some more water in this plant so that those nodes will touch that water, and what they'll do is they'll grow roots. Okay, well, that's all I'm doing. I'm making sure that those nodes are going to touch that water. Okay, so now you've got several cuttings. You could take each one of those cuttings when they root and make one plant, but it wouldn't be a full plant. Or if you wanted to make a full plant, you could put all of them, all the cuttings, into one pot, okay? This didn't have very much water in it, so I'm trying to get it all the way up to the top. I know you guys can't see that, but trust me, there's not enough water in here to touch those nodes, and these stems are short, So I had to make sure I go all the way up to the top. So here you are. You have your philodendron cuttings, and you can see where the stems are in there and the water is touching the stem. And here, turn the water off. Here you have your pothos cuttings, and the stems are in water. I know you can't see that, but they are in water, okay? So you put them in the same lighting conditions that they like, and then you're going to have new plant babies. But remember I said I had some little bitty wet sticks? Okay, so I'm going to show you what you could do with those, the little bitty sticks. You're not at a loss for not using these because you can put them in pothos. You can put them in sphagnum moss. Or you can put them in perlite, just whatever you like. I think we'll put them in perlite. So I'm going to go get a perlite container and show you what I'm talking about. One moment. Okay. So this is perlite, okay? And what I can do is I can take these little cuttings, as long as they touch the top of this perlite, the node and the perlite mix. They meet up and they touch. Give it a little water.